hit the music. And that's your music.
Vision in her mind's eye, live stream leader reaching past the sky. From Mac to mic, she builds the vibe. In studio glow, she's alive. Historic home with soul and style. Every creaky floorboard's worth the while. And out back you'll find her crew, a flock of chickens with a front porch view. Katie Fawkes, you like the way, turning clicks into community today. Break the barrier, build the dream, live unleashed beyond what seems. With heart and grit, you lead the pack in the flow. There is no turning back. Podcast pro in the flow each week, helping silent voices learn.
Well, good evening and welcome to Beyond Limits. We are so glad that you've joined us this evening, and it is a special Thanksgiving. Well, I guess it's not Eve yet. It's Thanksgiving will be Eve tomorrow night, but that's all right. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but I'm just already ready to eat turkey myself. I can tell you that, and I'm sure Katie is for her Canadian Thanksgiving as well. And my special guest tonight is Katie Fawkes from Ecamm, the marketing director that we all love so much. And she is joining me again for our second part of our interview, live from the East Coast and drinking eggnog tonight, I do believe. So let's get her up on screen here. And there she is. It is so good to see you again, Katie.
Good to see you. Good to be back here. I love it. Happy
Yes.
almost Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Eve.
Yes. I start my green beans tomorrow.
Oh, perfect.
Evening.
Perfect.
Yes. I got to do a long crock pot simmer of those with ham and some
so
bacon, onion, all the good stuff.
You're going to have me starving by the end of this episode, I'm sure.
Well, I love to cook, so we'll have a whole stick of butter in there too. So
perfect. Julia Child style. I love it.
Yes.
Add all of the butter.
Everything's better with butter. That's what
Everything is better with butter. Yep.
Yes, that's what she always said. So how have you been? You have been really busy the last couple months with Creator Camp and now the studio makeovers that you're doing. You did the your studio, and Jill did her studio, and then you actually end up doing the Ecamm studio as well.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Definitely a busy time of year. One of the creators at Creator Camp, Brandon Washington, in one of his sessions, he was talking about thinking about a creator's year as similar to a sports team, which really resonated with me. And so when you're actively doing your show and you're kind of in it, you should just keep your head in the game, power through, do the best job that you can, and then wait until postseason to actually, debrief and figure out where, what you did, what you accomplished, what you might want to change. So I feel like right now I keep joking to the team that I'm in postseason mode from now until the end of the year. So I've been going through all of the incredible work that the team has done this year and really thinking about, what next for next year. And a lot of is, as you were saying, a lot of it, taking apart some of the studio spaces to really make sure that they're as functional and as helpful and we have everything that we need in order to be successful. So I'm actually still, you would laugh if you could see this. It looks really clean in my cone of cleanliness, but this whole space is destroyed. I'm taking everything out of here. The room just feels a little bit busy and full. So I'm just trying to, get some stuff out of here and make a little bit more space and figure out, I want to add in a more comfortable recording space. So similar to what we did in the studio, which is we put a couple of cameras and lights and microphones on a sofa set. So I have a sofa here in this room, and I wanted to be able to, for my personal podcast, to have kind of a more relaxed vibe where it's just, coming to you from the sofa with some movies and some kind of fun, cozy stuff around there. So I'm working towards that, but it all takes time and planning and shifting things around and making sure it all looks and feels the way you want it to. So yeah, postseason for me over here.
Well, I've loved the movie podcast. It is going.
Thanks.
You've been hitting that out of the park too. The recent episode, it was really really great. I really enjoyed that one. And
Oh,
so
thank you. Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm a child of the '80s and '90s anyway, so I
Just hits
definitely,
right then. Yeah.
yeah, I love the Pretty in Pink, talking about the dress and all the different things that you were doing with
Yeah.
the last one. So that was awesome because I
Thanks.
can definitely remember those. Oh, it brought back such vivid memories too of every school dance, and
Yep.
guys on one side, girls on the
Yep.
other, guys with retainers and other guys talking, just goofy stuff, and
Yep.
everybody saying, I'm not doing it, I'm not dancing, or wait until the last minute and then the last dance. Yeah. So
Yeah, you
all
gotta
those
get before the
notes.
last dance. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the terrible punch and the cookies that were stale and all the all
Mhm.
the stuff. So anyway, so thank you,
Yeah.
thanks for bringing back some good memories with that too. So
Oh, yeah, no, that is a pure passion project. I love the chance to get to hear what everyone's favorite movies are and talk about the things that just bring us happiness and put us back into that nostalgic mindset. It's a really fun experience from start to finish, so I really enjoyed it.
well, I tell you, one of my all-time favorite movies, and I don't think you've done this one yet, because I've went back
Mhm.
and looked at a lot of your archives, is Hoosiers,
Yeah.
talking about sports themes.
No, yeah, we haven't done Hoosiers yet. Yeah, you'll have to come on. You'll have to come on and join us for that one.
Well,
I'm
me
always
being from
amazed
this,
at what people say their favorite movies are. I'm like, wow, like there's so many of them. No matter what we've
oh,
done, we like are missing one. So yeah, come on and do that one with us. It'd be great.
well, I was a sophomore in high school when that movie came out, and our high school basketball coach took us to see that movie in the movie theater, and we ended up winning our sectional that year. So it was kind of one of those,
Oh
those
wow.
emotional
Yeah.
memories. And so I'd love to talk to you about that one because my best friend and I, whenever we get on the phone, it's verbatim, line for line. So
I love it.
anyway, anyway, sorry about the cold too tonight, folks. I've been under the weather, and Katie and I had to miss the last time that we had set this up, and I had to cancel on her, and I'm
It happens.
eat,
Yeah.
eating lots of cough drops now, just trying to keep my voice. The congestion and all this stuff is it's just a terrible, yucky time of the year when it comes to cold. So I apologize about that.
Yeah, sure is. Well, I'm glad
Plus
you're feeling
tonight,
better.
well, I feel great in my wrong side. There we go. I feel great in my Ecamm t-shirt.
Yeah.
I am sporting my spirit wear, I guess, as you would say in the sports world,
Yeah.
and just glad that you're here. So, without further ado, let's jump right on in. I know we
Yeah.
left off last time at number 6, but I want to jump in if we can and talk to you a little bit about because I've been listening to, like I said earlier to you in the green
Mhm.
room, we were talking about this. I've been listening to a lot of your interviews lately and a lot of the things you've been writing, and I love how confident and just you talked to me a while back about how far I had come,
Yeah, you
but
have.
since I've been watching you all for the last 8 months or so, you have just exploded in confidence and your growth and growing this community is just it's been amazing what how big the Ecamm community has become because
Yeah.
of you and Jill and Jeremy and Doc and everyone else. It's just been amazing,
Yeah.
and it's just and I think part of it is your ability to be so genuine
Oh, thank you.
that really well, it struck a chord with me, and I think it probably strikes a chord with most people is they see your vulnerability
Mm.
and then they can associate theirs with yours, and it's like, okay, she can do it, I can do it too. you
Yeah.
know it's not,
Yep.
and if she can do it, it's she can do it and I want to do it kind of thing. So
Good.
Anyway,
That is definitely the mission. If I can do it, you all can do it. I promise you.
well,
It's,
it's never an if because I never want it to sound less than because
yeah.
you have just hit it out of the park and
Thank you.
and I love the sheep sweater tonight. That's striking a
Thanks.
chord too because it just goes along with the chickens and the sheep and
Yep.
everything else there in New England tonight. So marketing can be a very noisy and exhausting
Mhm.
place to live. And there's so many outside variables that are just wanting your attention all the time.
True.
And we've talked about you and I've talked about this before. Doc and you have talked about this on the episode.
Mhm.
Martin and Adrian talk about this a lot too. That
Mhm.
every single time there's a new thing that comes down the pike, it's wanting our attention. It's
Mhm.
vying for our attention, and so we have to be very careful in our approach of, oh, well, this is the next new thing. This is going to get me where I want to be. This
Yep.
brand new mic and the the pod rock and all the stuff. I'm going to be the greatest ever. And we have to be very careful with that. And that's something I feel like you do such a great job of navigating, especially online,
Mm.
because everything here is trying to get our attention. So
Yeah.
how do you stay rooted in your purpose and not get pulled into the comparison and the pressure or the burnout that comes with that?
Oh gosh. Well, I should just be honest and say that definitely there are days where I get pulled into pulled into all of it. So I don't think that there's a person out there who's in this space that doesn't get, you know, have days where they feel down or where they see what someone else is doing and just feel like, oh shoot, I could have done that, or if I had done this thing, I could.
Mm,
We're in a really, really public space, especially in video and in live streaming. We can see what everyone else is doing, but we don't see the journey and the hard work that it took to get them there. And so
right.
I do try to remind myself of that often. I honestly, I am just surrounded by really incredible people, and I'm really intentional about that. And the older I get and the longer I'm in this space, the more time I make for those relationships. And so I am now part of probably, I want to say even like 5 or 6 little small groups of just incredibly smart people in various different fields within the world of marketing and video. So I always have someone that I can call and vent to or ask questions of or run ideas by. And they're always the first people who, see what I'm doing and will send me an encouraging note or ask me a question or try to push me to be my best self. And I think that is really grounding and kind of helps remind me that I've benefited so much from the relationships that I've had with those people that it continues to remind me how important it is to be that person for other people and to like in a space where there is AI and there are, so many creative people doing all these creative things. It's even more important to just be yourself and to be as kind of honest and real and human as you possibly can be in this space because it's it can be very overwhelming for all of the fakeness that's out there, all of the robots that are out there, kind of all the different tools and things that are coming. I guess in direct answer to your question about all of the new tools and technologies and all of those things that come out, i try to keep I try to keep that in mind, and I think it's important to like know what's happening, particularly within my space. So I keep tabs on changes that are happening within video and podcasting and live streaming and what some of the other different tools in the space are doing. But I also try not to let that distract me too much from what I'm trying to accomplish. Like you kind of have to reset yourself and remind yourself. And again, like being able to have people to talk to about that or people who can test those things out for you. Like I have a great network where, they're like, well, I tried that tool and like I think it actually would work really well for you, or I don't think you need to spend your time at that. Like it doesn't really make sense for what you're doing. So having more and more, I think having those actual people that you can talk with, whatever way works best for you, is really important in a space where it can all be a little bit misleading, and it can all be very distracting. So, yeah, my biggest
Yes.
advice would be to find your people that are mentors and that you can offer mentorship to just be able to ask those questions and be real and be vulnerable with and around.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was hoping you were going to say. That's exactly because
Yes.
you know. Well, no,
Nailed it.
from the standpoint is everything I kept hearing there was relationship,
Yeah.
relationship,
Yeah.
relationship, relationship. I've got these people I trust. I've got these
Yeah.
people that I'm confident in. I've got these people that I confide in. And, you know, in the big scheme of things, even in this, just in life itself,
Hmm.
when we are not succeeding, it's because of that same very fact that we're not accountable. We're not reaching
Yeah.
out. We're not,
Yep.
putting ourselves out there to others. We're closing ourselves off.
Hmm.
And the only way we can ever have that success is doing it and being a part of it. And there's going to be failures, there's going to be shortcomings, there's going to be
Yeah.
all those things, but working through them and finding people that, and again, I remember, I believe Doc said this a while, but just finding people that are going to tell you the truth,
Yes.
you know, instead of the people that are going to, are they going to be the ones defending you in the room, or are they going to be the ones, you know, tearing you down in the room,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And if
That
it,
that is really, really valuable, and that is harder to find, and, like, and
oh,
you really have to be intentional. Like, I have a few really good friends who will like, push me to do things that I'm afraid to do. Like, for example, in the last couple of years, like you talked about some of my confidence over the last little bit, a lot of that and kind of the, getting to where I am right now was because I have a few friends who were like, "Hey, Katie, you actually have a lot of value that you could bring. You've been doing a great job in the video space. You should get on some stages at some of these events." And I was like, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm not a public speaker." I find public speaking these days to be like as scary as I used to find live video, right? Like the idea of being in front of a huge crowd of people is really intimidating. And they just wouldn't take no for an answer. They were like, "Oh, okay." And then, like, the next time I talked to them, they were like, "Well, I found this event. Like, you should apply to this." And but I think like that kind of relationship is valuable. Like, they could hear my fear and they knew that it was, but they also knew that it would be really good for me. And so they just kept pushing, and like they weren't shoving, they weren't pushing so hard that I no longer wanted to be friends with them or talk with them. But in the end, like I did end up getting back on some stages and doing it, in a way that I was comfortable with. But it did make a really big difference, and they continue to push for me to do a little bit more, move into these different spaces. So yeah, I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind, that you don't want just people who are going to say yes and tell you that you're great, and you don't only want cheerleaders. You want coaches. You want people who are
yeah,
there that are actually going to give you that feedback, say the things that you may not want to hear, and push you to be your best, and to be always thinking about what's next, what's important to you, what's your mission, what's your purpose. You need sometimes people to remind you of that.
sure. You know, my wife tends to be that a lot of times for me too. So
Mhm.
she
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
kick a chair out from underneath me just about as fast as anybody. But also,
Perfect.
she can also help me get back up on the chair faster than just about anybody as well. So,
Yep. That's a
yep,
good partner. That's what you want
yes.
for sure.
So, you know, for me, I think we talked about this. I remember in our very first interview, I had a lot of old tapes,
Mhm.
that I carried around for a long, long time about not measuring up, not being
Mhm.
adequate, not meeting, and so that was my struggle as I
Mhm.
had to constantly keep kind of burning those old tapes. And every
Yep.
time one of those would come up, I had to okay, got to throw that on the fire. And so, you speak with such clarity, which is unusual for many people today. A lot of people like to speak in word salads. I like to call it, you know, and say a whole lot of nothing. most of the time. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I've quit listening to a lot of podcasts because I just get tired of hearing all the word salads. I get enough of that. But speaking with confidence, and not just confidence, but calm confidence
Mm,
and clarity, is something that I've really appreciated about you. And and it's allowed me to help understand, okay, I don't have to be that high energy thing all the time.
yeah.
Just speak with clarity, speak with confidence, speak with authority. And has that something that's always been something that's natural for you, or is it something
Hmm.
that you've worked on, you know, or if you've had to grow into?
It's definitely does not come naturally. I'm the person that still to this day hates if there's a phone call that is incoming, like I won't answer it. I hate being on the phone. I'm not there are many moments where I don't feel comfortable or confident with speaking and with what I want to say. I feel like in this space, what helped me grow into it was that what people found valuable and what people were wanting to talk with me about and why people were bringing me onto their shows or interviewing me was my own story, which is
Mm,
actually really freeing because you can't get that wrong. It's not like I can come up here and say, like, unless I'm blatantly lying to you, there's no way for me to get my own story wrong. And so that was really freeing. I think a lot, you were saying like the tapes that were playing in your head, the tapes that were playing in my head when I first got into this were things like, you're supposed to be in charge of marketing at a video production company, but you don't actually know how to do video. What if someone watches you and like your camera is blurry, they'll think you're an idiot. You're supposed to know you're supposed to know
right.
how to do this. You're supposed to know how the software works. You're supposed to understand the industry. Why do you have this job and not someone else? Like those were the voices in my head. And once it became more about the people on the other end and the help I could provide them, and once I started seeing that the questions they were answering weren't the kinds of things that were triggering my fears, they were asking about things in the software that I knew the answer to, or mindset questions, or about my own story, or they wanted me to bring guests on so that I could ask the questions that they had to someone else. Then it became again like either it was me sharing my own story, which isn't scary, or me asking other people to share their experience so that someone else can learn from that, which again isn't scary
Mm,
because it's just a conversation. So I think a little bit of it was getting out of my own head and really identifying what were those things that were making me feel that way, which is hard for all of us. And it took me a long
sure.
time to figure out like what really though, what are those voices actually saying and why? What is causing that? And can I get into a different headspace where they're not and some of it they're not saying that at me, or I can quiet them. And some of it is just learning the stuff. For me, some of it was just you have to spend the time to learn the tech and then you won't feel as insecure about it.
Right.
And some of it was just reminding myself that I'm never going to know all aspects of the tech. Like in the end, I'm not a like I now am a podcaster and I'm a live streamer. I'm not a remote producer. I'm not a producer. I'm never going to be a master at all aspects of video production.
And
And
you don't
so
have to
it's a
be.
I don't have to be. So it's okay to
Yeah.
say I don't know. It's okay to phone a friend. It's okay. So I think that
Yes.
again, like that was freeing for me to say, "Oh, actually like what I'm really afraid of isn't actually as scary as it feels in my head." And once I was able to identify that, the voices never fully go away. They come back from time to time, but at least I can identify them now and realize
Right.
why I'm feeling that way and figure out how to get around it.
That's good stuff right there. Uh, I think that's when you start. I know for me, that's when I stopped playing small
Mm,
and started understanding that I needed to be showing up fully.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's where the things I was talking to you about with this new job and everything,
Mhm.
kind of how that all just, it's like, okay, I just started showing up.
You got to commit. Yeah. Mhm.
And once I did, it's like, okay, now it's there. And
Yep.
and realizing, the Paul the moderator Pauls of this world and the Doc
Yeah.
Rocks of this world, the Ken and Glens of this world. They're the
Mhm.
guys that have to have all the answers. You're the person that just gets to bring us to the water.
Yeah. I get to
And
just facilitate a lot of the time, which actually is a great space to be in and is a good
right,
starting point for a lot of people. Like people that are newer into these spaces, like a great starting point is to bring a friend with you. Like to have a
yes,
conversation and to do interview style like what we're doing right now is way less stressful for a majority of people. I mean, some people prefer to be by themselves and I totally get that. That's not me. But so having someone else on, on the show with you or in the same space as you can just be really calming and help make it feel like you're just talking with a friend. And then that is less scary in the end. So, yeah, I think that's smart.
and I think that's why I think you and Jill play so well off of each other, especially like when you did the game uh, live stream
Yeah.
and
Right.
those things because you know where she's the outgoing, vivacious,
Mhm.
ready to jump into the deep end every single time.
Yeah.
You're standing there. You're kind of like, okay, now how are we going to get to the deep end? That's you. Okay, I need to
Yeah.
find out how I'm going to get there and I'm going to get back.
Yeah.
And so, it works so well. So, but the thing that I've seen in watching your interviews over the last 6, 8 months or so has just been your vulnerability. Like I talked about earlier, just being vulnerable and you're allowing yourself, you're telling us, hey, these are my shortcomings. These are where I fall. And, and I just got to get better and will get better. And that helps all of us, I think, understand that it's, we're not less than, we
Mhm.
just don't know at the moment, and we can know and we can get better. So thank you
Yep.
for that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I think that
And
that's a really I I feel like in a lot of spaces, that's the thing that causes a lot of insecurity. And again, like a lot of us are coming into this space with no video background. We were forced
right,
into this space when the pandemic hit. And now, our creativity is there and it's a space we want to be in, but we're not like someone like Doc Rock has years and years and years of experience in television production and radio production. And so he comes into this space with a knowledge that many of us don't have. And so I think for me, it was just, it made me feel better when other people were like, oh, I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to like come with me and we'll learn it together. And so I just came to a point where I'm like, I don't want to be seen as the person who is all polished and totally put together and you don't want to talk to because you're worried
mm,
that like you'll look stupid. Like I never want to be that person. And so for me, I would rather be almost overly vulnerable than unapproachable. So that was
sure.
a big intention for me over the last few years to just say like, nope, I would rather look a little silly myself so that someone else feels like it's okay to be in that space. So I appreciate that you said that because I really continue to try to be as kind of open book as I can about this because it's not easy all the time and
Well,
things go wrong often. So it's good that we admit that and kind of share that together.
it's definitely, the vulnerability part of it and just being honest and open is why I reached out to you in the very first place. So
Good. Yeah. Awesome. I
it
love that.
definitely was the hook for me. So thank you.
Great. Of course.
Um, in kind of wrapping all this up, I've got a couple more questions, but
Sure.
in the theme of my podcast, Beyond Limits,
Hmm.
your Beyond Limits moment, over the last maybe year, what does Beyond Limits mean to you? Whether it's something you've overcome or something that you're still chasing, what does living unleashed and unlimited look like for you in the world, in your world right now?
That's a great question. I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't think I'm on a journey, which I know is kind of cringy that word for people to say, but I
No.
feel like I've been on a journey for the last 6 to 8 years in trying to figure out who I am professionally, and what kind of thought leader and leader in general I want to be, and really like more lately, what kind of personal brand do I want to have? So like, who am I as Ecamm Katie, but who am I just as Katie? Like, what does that mean to people out there? I find that really exciting, and it's been really
Mm,
interesting that I've been given really the freedom in my day-to-day job to be able to play and test a lot of things and try a lot of things out, and I've learned a ton over the years, not only in what I do day to day at Ecamm, but also in like how I want to be as a creator and how like the kind of brand that I want to build for myself. um so yeah, I think I'm pushing limits right now and trying to figure out exactly where I want to be. I'm very aware that I'm not overly entrepreneurial in that I don't necessarily want to like start my own business, or like I love what I'm doing right now, and I like the opportunities that I get, but I do love playing enough in the creator space to understand the people that I work with. So like like launching my own podcast, that was just my space to be able to play with. I learned, can I grow a channel by myself without any other support? What is it? How long does it take to set up a
yeah.
YouTube channel from scratch? Like, will people come? What changes do I need to make? Like, I've learned the things that allow me to be better at my day-to-day job, and give me kind of the credibility to be part of that creator space. So now when I attend events, like I'm there as Ecamm Katie, but I also understand what it feels like to be a podcaster, to be a creator, to be in this space. I know the challenges that everyone goes through, the questions you have. I'm there myself. So I feel like that's been a big kind of um a beyond limits moment for me, is really just, still figuring out who I am in these spaces, and kind of where all these different forces combine, and and how it works for good, hopefully in the future. So it's been a really fun journey, and it started with just like getting comfortable on camera, and more these days it's okay, like what can I do now that I do have a platform? What's possible out there, and what do I want to do with it? What do I, how do I want to be able to hopefully be a force for good, and community and support? What does that mean for me personally?
Well, and not to get all spiritual or that, but Ecamm is also uh, intricately involved in the church and in
Hmm.
worship houses. I
Hmm.
guess might be a better way to, because I know Strick and a lot of his followers
Hmm.
are very involved in using it in the
Yeah, we have a
worship side
lot
of
of
things.
faith leaders. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I guess what I was going to kind of lead into that with is the fact that you're affecting change
Mhm.
whether you even realize it or not. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
there
Mhm.
are people. I've watched faces, and I see interviews, and I see people in Zoom calls that I've been on with you before, and I see their faces when you start talking and you start sharing, and it, it, it's different.
Mm.
It's you're speaking directly into those people, and you're giving them not only a path, but you're giving them hope too. And so look, never underestimate the power that you have in the sense of,
Oh, thank you.
your influence is definitely affecting people for the better. And like I said, I mean, what we're doing here is faith based, with Beyond Limits, but
Mhm.
um and we definitely are trying to move people from less than and limited belief to the idea that we can do whatever we desire,
Mhm.
inside of ourselves. And so one limiting belief that maybe you've crushed, let's say just in the last year, what's one limited belief that you've just like vanquished?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess I can pull out my stage presence example. So I definitely had the limiting belief that I'm not a speaker. I'm not a public speaker.
Mm.
I'm a live streamer. I'm a podcaster. I'm not a public speaker, or I'm not a speaker. Um, and I've attended. So huge shout outs to my friends Jeff and Lou. Lou Mangella runs this event called Momentum, which is in Florida in the fall every year. He does incredible work. He has a podcast in the Disney space, which is a lot of fun. But he was kind enough to allow me to be a speaker at his event, which was the perfect kind of reintroduction for me because it's a smaller event. It's really community focused. It feels very similar to Creator Camp. And that was just a really great experience. I was
And
very nervous,
I
but
heard some of those.
I had a really great, experience there because again, it was probably the first time that I felt both of those sides of the coin, right? So like I was there as Ecamm Katie and they're kind of teaching about, video production and live streaming and the potential of Ecamm. But it was so nice because everyone that was there was a creator. So I was also like there as one of many creators learning from people that I really respect and the many people that I got to know while I was there. So I think that experience was a great kind of overcoming and only because people like Jeff and Lou were like, no, you can do this. And I was like, no, I cannot. And they were like, no, you can. And just kept kind of being that voice in my ear and helping to guide me towards that. And it was a really fantastic experience and something I continue to enjoy doing.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, what would be now then maybe one message that you want to continue? I'm going to use this word preach
Mhm.
to yourself and then hopefully then be lived out to others.
I mean, really, like you are more influential than you realize. So,
Mm,
a lot of this experience from start to finish, kind of coming into this space, um, as I think I mentioned last time, but I've been in the marketing space for my entire career, but this job is the first time into the video space and the creator space. And I think a lot of it was feelings of imposter syndrome or feelings of, who
sure.
am I to be here? And I think everything that I've said with you tonight and things that I've said in other interviews, what has been shocking to me is that every single place that I go and every conversation I have, I inevitably meet someone that was like, oh, you guys did this workshop and it really made a big difference to me. I was able to start my podcast because of you. I was able to, like, I was at an event 2 years ago and bumped into this incredible person named John, who I'm connected with on Facebook. And I knew him like just in the internet world. And so I recognized him, but he was talking to other people and he came up to me at the end of this event and was like, it's so great to meet you. I love the content that you're creating and sharing. It's been really like helpful for me. And I was like, oh, I think he's a big deal. And he was like, oh, I think she's a big deal. So like you have my message to everyone and definitely to myself is that you have way more influence than you realize. And even if those numbers on your live stream are small, you're only getting 5 people that are watching, you're getting 2 people, you're getting 0 people that are watching, like that message is getting seen by people. Like the cool thing about all these social platforms is that all of those vanity metrics are a lie. Your content is still getting out in front of people
Yes.
and they do notice even when they don't comment, even when they don't send you a message. Like I am a great living proof of that. My personal numbers are small. They're not big numbers. And I get people everywhere I go in my real life, in the digital life that are like, oh, I love your video podcast. I want to talk to you about this movie. And these are people that like aren't showing up in my live chat. I don't see them in my email newsletter list. Like they are not a number in the metrics, but what I am doing is having influence. So I think
Yes.
it's just really important for everyone to remember that it's hard with all of the numbers and the comparison out there, but it you are making a difference whether or not you're aware
Yes.
of it. It's a slow roll and people are burned out with all the technology, so they may not be interacting the way that you want them to, but they are seeing it.
Well, and that's evident if anyone's listening to this right now, that's evident in the fact that when you reposted this from the last time on LinkedIn, the it I got all kinds of people came back to me and said, "Hey, I saw your video with Katie," and it was people that you're connected to,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was then all of a sudden like Alex Johnson connected to me, and then Jeff
Awesome.
did, and it was like all these people that I had not connected with at all through EK, you know. So yes, it is so amazing. Just when you think you're not being heard,
Yep.
you are being heard. People are
You are being
seeing it.
heard. Yeah. Yeah.
So, last question then, and it'll be almost right on time because
Look at you.
I was shooting for
I love
45
it.
minutes. I was shooting for 45 minutes with you. I wanted to honor your time tonight. Um, Tell me, what is one dream that you're not done chasing yet?
Oh gosh, what is one dream I'm not? These are great questions. I don't have just one. I got a bunch. Um,
Well, you can tell me as many as you want. It won't hurt.
I mean, unlike not unlike like many of you out there, I mean, I'm continuing to chase a balanced a balanced life where I'm doing things professionally that are fulfilling, and I also have enough time for my family and for my friends and for all the kind of the personal dreams that I'm going after, right? Like I want to travel more. I'd love to have a second property that we can escape off to. I like there's a whole bunch of things that I want to be able to do personally, and I don't want to wait until I'm retired or at a certain age before I'm able to achieve those. So for
Sure.
me, I want I want the work that drives the money to be meaningful. And I
Mm,
want it, but I also want to be financially free enough that I'm able to do the things that I want to do. So and I think I'm on that path, which is a great feeling. But it all takes time and it all takes learning and it's an exciting journey, and it is one of those like cliched experiences where I think the journey is as valuable as the destination.
right.
So I'm happy to be on this path. And yeah, I think there's a lot of dreams on this path and on the way. So it's a great place to be.
I think that goes back to that. I think I mentioned this in the interview with you and Doc that day that my friend told me, get paid for what you know, not what you
Yes.
do. And when you
Yes.
start getting paid for what you know,
Yep.
that's when those big dreams start to happen because
Yep.
then you're getting the big money. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so maybe if I finish my book here and get this done, maybe I
Yeah.
can start getting paid for what I know, not just what I do, right?
Absolutely.
Well, listen, what a
Absolutely.
pleasure. I mean it. And I want to do this again sometime. And
Yeah.
I know as we get into the holidays, this will be a crazy time for any of us. So maybe after the first of the year, we can shoot for catching up again, and we'll
Yeah.
maybe take a dive into something else. And by that time,
Absolutely.
I'm hoping my friend Marty will be finished with his build, and we can get back to recording on our end, and we can get our show going here. But he's been there every day for the last 2 months finishing this build.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
but
story he'll have to tell. That'll be incredible. Yeah,
oh, I
let's
know.
do a crossover episode. You'll come on the VHS Club. We'll talk Who's Yours, and then I'll
I
come
would
on your
love to.
show. We'll
Yes,
do a crossover.
I would love to. I'd love to have you back again, and please, I would be honored to come on your show and talk to you about Who's Yours or any movie you want to talk about.
Perfect. I
And
love it.
because I'm definitely a movie buff. That definitely when the first time I ever watched, I was like, oh my goodness, she's like scratching a major itch. It's definitely striking a chord. So listen, thank you so much, Katie, and
Thank
have a
you.
great Canadian Thanksgiving and a great Thanksgiving with your family. I know I love watching all the pictures and seeing your kids and the trips you guys take and the little day adventures you get to do because it's just
Thanks.
awesome getting to see your kids seeing life and getting to do
Yeah.
all those little neat things, the little projects you guys do every day, every time you go and do a trip like that. So keep
Yeah.
posting all that stuff because it's
I
awesome. I
will.
love it. Well, listen,
I will. Thank you so much.
you take care of yourself, and again, have a great Thanksgiving. And if I don't
You
see you
too.
before Christmas, have a great Christmas, and we'll definitely talk after the new year. Okay?
Thank you. Sounds great.
Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
All right. Bye, Bruce. Thank you.
Bye bye.